kids, welcome back to another video on my channel. For this week's review, we're going to be testing out the recently released XX Revolution Skin Blur Soft Focus Skin Tint. If you haven't heard of this product before, that's okay, that's what we're here for today. Light to medium buildable coverage, as well as a long wearing peptide infused formula to moisturize and soften the skin whilst you're wearing it. So within this video, it's going to be a first look at the product as well as testing out for you guys, doing an application. I'm going to do like a half and half so you can see a side by side of the coverage. Before we jump in, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, as well as follow me on my socials, which are over here somewhere. Now flicking to in the past where I didn't have all of my face on. So jumping a little bit back into time, this is me with the box of goodies. I no joke picked this up about 20 minutes ago from my local Boots, as usual. How do I get into this? So here they are, the XX Revolution Demi Matte Finish Skin Tints. I picked up two because I wasn't sure at the minute like what shade I am, and I thought if I had two I could maybe mix and match them if it wasn't like the perfect shade. So first one I grabbed was the shade Tan, and then the other shade I picked up was Medium Sand. Look at the shape of them, just seems like a lot less. Looking at my face in the mirror over here, I think that Tan is probably going to be the better shade for me. And as usual, I'm going to be taping half of my face, as I usually would do with any of my previous foundation, skin tint, whatever else reviews. I'm going to do a half and half, or as half and half as it's going to get. Started off with no primer or anything on my face. We're just going in bareback. My face is probably so greasy this tape won't even stick. So the consistency of that is very watery. What are we saying about the shade? Zooming you in a little bit. Okay, that one is actually quite a good match. This tape, however, is not a good match for my skin. It smells really good, which is weird for a foundation because I don't usually look at the smell of a foundation as like a plus or minus point. I suppose if that's something that you don't like, I mean as in like fragrance products, maybe this range isn't good for you, because I distinctly remember that I did a review on the foundation a while ago, like during lockdown a while ago, and I'm pretty sure the foundation had the same kind of smell. I think I've applied a bit too much on my cheeks, but that's okay. We'll just spread it around. We'll spread the love. Of course, it's all over my lips. Brilliant. Bringing back the foundation lips. We loved them. We did it. Let's see how well it conceals that curler burn that I've got on my forehead there. Okay, doing pretty well. Okay, it's looking on camera a bit lighter than what I thought it was going to. In front of my face, in this mirror I've got here, it's looking good. I need a beauty blender, BRB. I am back! So, where were we? Blending in. I promise you this is a relatively clean sponge. I'm just gonna tap that product gently into my skin. At the moment you can see it's got a glow finish, so I'm just gonna pat this into my skin. So that is the definite dewy part of the skin tint coming through. This is the kind of situation that we've got going on right now, and this is how it's covered my skin. This is supposed to have a medium coverage. Medium, but buildable coverage, I might add. I can still relatively see my skin through this. I can see my freckles. I can also still kind of see a couple of blemishes and things, but nothing too major. Same with the little burn on my head. Now the moment of truth. So before, after, before, after. I feel because the shade is not as off as it normally is, it's not as dramatic of a half and half as we're usually used to. Might have actually semi got the shade right this time, which is very rare for me, as you guys will know if you've seen any of my other videos. I'm terrible. So far I'm liking the finish of this. I'm very much in my phase of having a little bit of coverage just to give me an ounce more confidence, especially for in the summer, which is coming to an end. I want to have that option. I was surprised about how watery the consistency is, but obviously this is a skin tint, it's not a foundation. Confused obviously, as we said, about the scent, because I'm not used to face products like this having scent, but it doesn't offend me. Let me show you a bit more up close how it covers. Get out of here. There we go. But it's just evening out the skin, covering what it needs to, and leaving out what it doesn't need to cover. try not to get it in my hairline like I always do, and then I end up looking a bit bald at the front. So it's covered enough of my skin for you not to be able to see where I've been poking the in my face. But it's evened out that skin tone, so I look like the surface of the moon, as I always like to when I'm doing my makeup before I start applying any other product. Seems to apply well enough with a brush as well as with a sponge. I do like to use a sponge after I've applied with a brush, just because it really helps set that foundation or that face product that you're using. It just helps press that product into your skin so it's blended in rather than sitting on top of it as a layer. Even though I'm passing it into my skin, it still has that kind of luminous finish. Looking at my face here, you can still kind of see a bit of texture. You can still see my freckles coming through as well as my eye bags. Definitely a natural and soft finish to the skin. Something that I'm not used to, but I need to get used to because it just looks nice. It's timeless as well, and it's very on trend. Sorry, let me just open this. I'm going to apply the rest of my products, so powder, bronzer, highlighter, blush, brows, mascara, and I'll come back to you and tell you how it performed underneath the rest of my makeup. Okay, so makeup, as you can see, is all done and dusted. I have to say it went really well with the rest of my products. I would say this shade in particular for me, shade Tan, was a good match, a lot better than my normal choices of match. As you can see, I'm actively working on it. Application was super easy. The product formula was a little bit watery, so if that is something that you kind of struggle with, I would highly suggest that you pop a bit out onto the back of your hand or like a little palette or something that you've got, and then use a brush to distribute it out all over your face, and then use a nice clean sponge, not like me, pat it and blend it out into the rest of your face. For me personally, I'm quite an oily skinned person, so I don't know how well that this would last for me without a primer. It says here that it's a dewy matte finish, which I do agree with. I think if you look into it and get the correct formula for the primer, you would be able to match those two products together and hopefully get the longest wear possible out of it. Obviously that all is dependent on your skin type, but if you're maybe someone with dry skin, this might be an absolute banger for you to try. If you are somebody that is maybe starting out with makeup, this might be a good choice for you to try. Maybe if you're like a teen or something and your mum doesn't want you to wear like full-blown matte, full coverage, thick foundation, then this is maybe something for you to try. As I said, medium coverage, but also can be buildable. It's given a nice coverage to my skin to cover any hyperpigmentation on your face or any dark marks or anything like that. You can still see through, so you can still see my freckles, you can still see my pores a little bit, you can still see the colour burn I've got on my head, but it just gives you that little ounce of confidence and a little bit of coverage just to start your day. For me personally, I don't feel like this changed my life, stopped the world, turned back time for me or anything like that. It's a nice product. I love the Revolution XX range. I've tried loads of products from them. I think I did like a full face way back when, like in the lockdown times, which I will link because there's loads of products in there that I would highly recommend that you give a go. So yes, that was my thoughts on the new XX Revolution Skin Blur Soft Focus Skin Tint. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you give it a big thumbs up so I know. All of the links to this product as well as my socials will be down in the description below for you. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you again next week for another one. Bye!